So it has been a while since we last had a networking device appear in our channel. I
Very long
remember
time
that
ago.
was
Wi-Fi 6.
super long time. Yeah, the Wi-Fi 6 when that was a time when we set up the office with the office networking and everything.
That's like 3 years ago. Anyway, what we have today here is I would say both of these products go well together.
Is going together. So we just look it from one single product perspective, which is the ASUS ExpertWiFi series.
Yes. Treat this as a solution to your more like SMB networking
business.
Yeah, those kind of situations, it works really well.
Yeah.
And you can further expand if you want to, which we'll go on to later. So this one is the ExpertWiFi EBA63. Explain to me what this is, because the product is unconventional.
I understand how this can be very confusing for a lot of users. So the EBA63, this is the unit itself, is basically a wireless access point. When I say wireless access point, it means that it has one job, which is to broadcast wireless SSID.
Okay.
So that all your devices, your phones, your laptops, everything else will connect to this wireless router. And then, why do we have another device here, the EBG19P? This is your internet router itself, or you call it a gigabit PoE router. So this thing, unlike how we get used to our current all-in-one router, that they have a modem, the router, and then the wireless SSID broadcasting and everything all in one. This kind of business devices, usually they have very specific purpose for them. Like this one is for the wireless, and then this is for the router itself. So the design is not fancy, nothing fancy with it, but it is very practical. And if we look closer at the EBG19P itself, you have a DC in at the back, and then all the Ethernet ports are located at the front. Like we have like 3 WAN ports.
Yes.
Like one of it is dedicated WAN port. The other, second and third, is a mix of WAN and LAN. You can use it as WAN or LAN. That means you can have like backups of backups in case you have a secondary network.
Fallback networks.
Fallback networks to do it. Then they also have a USB port for if you can use a phone as a hotspot to supply a backup network to it.
Another fallback. So totally you can have 4.
Technically, you can do that. Of course, you need to configure it in the admin settings to do that. And other than that, you have like a lot of other PoE Ethernet ports. So what is PoE? A lot of people don't understand what is PoE. Now, PoE is just a short form of power over Ethernet.
Yes, this is an Ethernet cable.
Yes.
So PoE essentially means power, electrical power over your Ethernet cable.
Yes.
Which is why this thing, you technically don't need the DC in.
Yes. Even though this device, they have a DC input, you can power the access point with just one single cable, which is the Ethernet cable.
From this
one. Because they have power output up to 123 watts in total. Because over here we have like 8 ports that can supply PoE.
Yeah.
And in total is 123 watts.
Then you just divide by 8.
You divide by 8. That is your total budget you have. So because of depending on what device you use, some of them consume more, some consume less. So you will have to do the math.
Your cable will also play a role in terms of internal resistance,
quality,
yes,
length. It plays.
Yes, your quality of your cable plays a role as well.
Yes.
So you have to use some online calculator or something like that to measure how much. What's your maximum budget to play with?
Yeah, and that takes some of the expertise to do that.
Yeah.
So most of the time, this kind of setup is not done by the business owner. You just basically order the whole thing, and then the price should include from the vendor. They will come and do the installation for you.
Your contractor should route the cable for you, hide the cables nicely, help you set it up.
Yes, that is correct. We are gonna quickly set it up and see how this whole thing works.
Yes.
Like just put aside the boxes.
This thing look like a makeshift, those server blade.
Yeah, basically they really design as crude as possible. I don't know if that actually adds some points to the durability or not. Who knows? These kind of business devices, you don't even have a power switch. Basically, you just plug in and then it is turned on.
Yeah. So reading the lights on the ports is very important.
Yeah, it's very important. So now you just have to like connect the Ethernet cable to
so
this thing.
Behind here, PoE in. If I
PoE
plug it in, the light in front should switch on, correct?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
it turns on.
It turns on. It is very simple to configure all this because most of the time when people they want to set up, for example, an office building, they have like 3-4 stories, and then they have the router at the ground floor. So they just have to like install the cable from ground floor to second, third, fourth floor to each access point location, plug in, and then the access point will get power from the router just from the Ethernet cable itself. So they save money in terms of like they don't have to like purposely install
outlets
another outlet.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So you save on electrician money.
In another way, yes.
Actually, you don't have to.
And also, one less point of failure.
Yes. Especially if you see this thing, if it doesn't have power, it's either your cable has been bitten by rats or something is wrong with this thing.
Yes, it's very simple to troubleshoot. Okay, so now we're into the admin dashboard of the EBG19P.
Yes, the interface is very different from what we had.
So compared to the standard user routers or user interface, this one is much more, I'll say, the way they present the data is more towards the devices. The like you can see from here, you have like how many clients has been connected, and of course our primary WAN is not connected right now because we just directly connected to another router.
So this is like a subnetwork.
Subnetwork, yeah. Well, right now we have a subnetwork from here and can also monitor the traffic from this interface itself. And one of the most important reasons why business users not recommended to use home router and networking devices because they lack a lot of those features. For example, self-defined network. This is, if you see this interface, you will immediately can tell how important this is.
Oh.
You can define and separate networks according to your purpose. Like for example, employee, you can just make one network for the employees. And guest portal is as simple as this.
Yeah, like you go Starbucks.
Yeah, when you go to Starbucks and then you can just key in your brand, and then you can change your background. This is like those free Wi-Fi, but then when they want to like access to your free Wi-Fi and
sign in first.
Yeah, they sign in first. They see what is your business is about. So this is unlike any home routers. This is not anything home routers can do. On top of that, you can even like specify a specific IoT network just for your IoT devices. So what you know about AI Mesh?
Their own proprietary, not really standard. It's more like a way of connecting.
Nodes,
nodes.
Yeah, correct. That is basically their mesh network. If you have multiple units of these access points, each of them they will form like a huge web, kind of like a mesh. So that different devices and then they can connect according to the strength of the different access points, so they can get the best possible networking experience.
And as far as I know, their handoff to other access points are also very smooth.
Yeah. That's what I understand based on my personal experience using their existing AI mesh and stuff. Of course, you will need to have a relatively large area to properly use it. Otherwise, you've got just a small space and you have like 2 or 3. It kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah. Too many.
Yeah, too many. And then what sets this apart is that they also have like a VPN server capabilities from here. So what VPN server setup configuration is basically allowing you to access, configuring the router work as a VPN server, and then you can access to your work environment through a dedicated tunnel.
Okay.
Yes, that will, of course, you will have to make sure your the network for this router itself has a dedicated IP address. If not, you will have to use a dynamic DNS.
Understandable. And what is VPN Fusion?
Oh, VPN Fusion is basically, if you have subscribed to any of those VPN services, you can directly add a VPN profile.
Oh, so you don't have to self-configure?
Let's say you get like Social, OpenVPN, all those, then you can just register. Not particularly register, just include the key inside the router itself. Then your entire home network will be accessing through the VPN.
Convenient. Then don't have to configure for each device.
So yes, it basically convert your router into a VPN client and basically everything at your home. Now there's also another reason why VPN Fusion is called with the name Fusion. That is because it will allow you to assign and use different VPN servers for different devices all at the same time. That means the mobile phones, notebooks, and different devices, they can use this feature and tunnel to each of their respective VPN tunnel without even interrupting the original internet connection. AI protection, this is a collaboration between ASUS and Trend Micro on some sort of a malware networking protection. I can't really say this is a firewall because it technically
different purpose.
It's different purpose.
Yeah.
For example, what you can see here is like they have like router security assessment. They go through some of your settings and then say, okay, you are still using your default router login username and password. So it's red color. Yes. So you have to change it. It's like all of these checklists to go through.
Very important.
Yes, and they also have like all these, the dashboard to show you. You can also enable like the malicious sites blocking. Of course, this is based on their database.
Yes.
So they have all this report and how many of the issues they have detected. They have a dashboard.
What's different from firewall is that usually firewall is not as up to date as this. This is technically real-time malware scanning.
Yes, correct.
Firewall is like you have a set of database, do not enter this address. If anyone tries to go there, please block them. That's it.
Yeah. And on top of that, firewall is more on to like attack detection, something. They have like a pattern detection whereby when you have a malicious connection trying to break into your network, and then firewall works in that they will block those action.
Famous example, DDoS. So if you have a DDoS attack, your firewall will just block all of the requests.
Your firewall should trigger the anti-DDoS attacks. To mitigate on that.
Yes.
So, from here on, we are still like on very surface layer on the networking stuff over here, because essentially every business, they have a very different set of requirements, what kind of networking environment they need.
Yes.
Whether if they have their own server farm or they don't have server farm, they have how many employees, or if they don't have like fixed employees to serve, they basically is like restaurant, they serve different customers. It all depends on the business nature, and this is why like business type of equipment, they can cater to all of these special requirements.
Correct. And the reason why you can expand using this, why I recommend you to expand, is because if, for example, like what you said, your cafe, you gonna have maybe like 100 customers at once. Then one of these is not gonna cut it, so you need to have a redundant backup. Correct. Even though your area is small, having a redundant is just for load balancing.
Yeah, load balancing. It works so that it doesn't overload that single access point.
Yeah, otherwise your customers will rage and quit.
Yeah. So I think for the pricing itself, we probably not going to get the official pricing, because usually this type of business-oriented devices is only available through the contractors and vendors.
Yes. And probably you have to contact ASUS directly if you want to get in touch with them to purchase directly.
Yeah, that's why we say this video is specifically for us to dive into like the reason why a business will best benefit from a business networking devices like this.
Even for us here, we could actually put it to good use.
Yeah, even for our case, I think this is a much more sensible way to set it up because we have like stuff to connect, and then we also have servers to
like
connect.
What you
to
can
it.
see just now, the self-defined network. You have one for IoT. We have IP cameras
we have IP cameras,
and then we have guests to come over. So we have another guest network. Scheduled network. Probably we're not gonna use it, but it is there.
But I mean, it's useful because, like, for example, nighttime, definitely there's no staff around.
We can turn off the Wi-Fi.
We can turn off the Wi-Fi, all of this.
So because for us, we have a NAS, we have to connect it 24/7, and it is very customizable.
Yeah.
And even for my home, it would be quite applicable. Yeah. Even though it is advertised for expert Wi-Fi, if you're a power user, you know what you're doing.
Yes,
you could make this work.
Yes. So I think that's all for this particular sharing session about the Expert Wi-Fi series from ASUS. I mean, if you've got any questions about like why you need a business devices, yes, please leave it down in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys.
I just discovered something. The IoT self-defined network, you can set it to 2.4 GHz because a lot of my stuff is only 2.4 GHz.
Yes.
If I turn on auto band, cannot connect. Then I have to lock it to 2.4, connect, then change it back to 2.4 and 5. Oh my god, having this kind of sub-network is so much better.
But nowadays, the China side, they already supporting 5 GHz. Even the OEM stuff, they start supporting already.
Please do.
So that's that.
I don't have to go through this headache again.
Okay, that's it for today. If you've got any questions, do leave it down in the comment section below. And I think we will see you guys in the next video.
Goodbye.